Welcome back to some more Corpse Body Blood Drive. Anyway, let's play. We're gonna start with chapter 3 now. Pain. Aside from Satoshi and my other friends who shared the experience with me, there wasn't a soul in this world who believed that Psycho, Suzumoto, Morishige, and Mrs. Yui ever existed. And this fate was really taking its toll on me, practically in regards to Psycho.
大丈夫か、ナオミ。
もう平気。お母さんにも心配かけっぱなしでいられないもんね。
I flashed the brightest smile I could muster, though I'm still not sure he entirely bought it.
よかった。元気出してこうな。
ありがとう。心配しないで。
That night, all I could manage to do was to stand perfectly still and stare at my desk. I was mumbling something, but I don't know what. My eyes had glazed over. It was like I was in a trance. Or maybe I just wanted to be.
間違ってない。私は間違ってない。おかしいな、みんなの方がおかしい。
Look at her facial expression. She's even drooling, dude. Like, what the heck?
人を信じられない人は地獄の効果で焼かれる。私の正しさを思い知れば友達はいるんだ。私の友達は聖子、聖子、聖子。
I didn't even realize I'd actually started writing. I was at my desk now, writing words into a notebook.
聖子、聖子。
I kept softly repeating her name to myself, over and over again. The words started to sound foreign in my head, but I couldn't stop saying it, almost like I'd forget her if I did. There was no other sound in the room, just the scratching of pencil on paper, and the hushed sound of my voice, just the word psycho in all of its forms.
聖子、聖子。
My voice was getting firmer each time I said it, more demanding, and my writing was growing more feverish, more intense. Finally, the pencil broke in half under the strain. I gripped it so hard that it stabbed into my palm. Blood began to drip into the paper. My head was hanging limply, but the rest of my body had stiffened. If anyone had seen me, I bet I would have been quite a sight. I could feel the blood rushing to my head. My whole body quivered. I raised my head from its vigil and realized tears were streaming down my face. My voice was strained, choking back a sentence I'd hope I'd never say. There were countless pictures of Psycho drawn in my notebook. But in every one of them, her face was blank. I hurled the notebook from my desk. Goodness. I feel like those words could be great if it was my girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? I slammed my hands on the desk with all my might and screamed as loud as my present constitution would allow. I opened up the photo album on my phone. There was this nagging sensation in the back of my head that I'd overlooked something. I was absolutely bowling at this point. My face was a mess. But I had indeed overlooked something. On the bottom right of the screen, there was an icon for an image modification. After a few menu selections, I found myself adjusting the picture's brightness. Deep. I kept hitting the button. Oh, beep, sorry. I keep hitting the button to turn it up higher and higher. And slowly, in the very center of the black void that had replaced Psycho's face, I could see something to begin to form. I felt like I was on the verge of an incredible discovery, filled with a new hope I hadn't felt since just before the incident at the Shinozaki estate. There was still room to increase the brightness. There were still countless increments to go before I'd reach the phone's upper limit. I just kept pressing the button over and over again, until finally, in the very center of the would-be face, I could make out an extremely faint pattern that looked like freehand lettering spelling the name Sachi in hiragana. Was that right? Was I certain that it was what it said? Instinctively, I placed the phone's screen closer to my eye. The limited resolution made this pointless, but I didn't care. It was so close that I was beginning to lose focus, but it still wasn't close enough. I had to make sure that that's what it said. I touched it to my forehead, as near as my eye as it could get. At which point the letters latched onto my cornea. They literally attached themselves to my eye. They were there, no matter where I looked. I saw them. My vision had gone half white, obscured by the phantom letters. It looked only for a moment before the pain set in, and it was not an insignificant amount. I collapsed to the ground, hand ineffectually covering my eye. It was absolutely excruciating. That's around my mom. That's around when my mom burst through the door. She looked like she was at the end of her rope, like she didn't believe anything was wrong, and I was probably just faking it. She was definitely more annoyed than concerned. With nothing more than a grunt, she grabbed me from behind, pinned my arm so I couldn't hurt myself. I fell backward onto my rear, unable to resist her restraint. My left eye was glazed over with tears and had gone as bloodshot as an eye can get. And right on the cornea, white blister-like bulges were beginning to form, spelling out Sachi. There was no way my mom could ignore or dismiss that. Holy dude. That's crazy sign. She quickly stepped back in shock. Finally acknowledgement. Her breathing had quickened, but she didn't say a thing. She just left the room. It was too late. She was gone. Halfway across the house by the time I called out. I was sprawled out in the corner of my room like a giant stuffed bear. At some point, I think I lost consciousness, but I'm still not really sure. I was starting to feel a little less tense, a little more relaxed. I looked up. At the prospect of actually discerning details in my room, my left eye reacted, there we go, reacted with a sharp, tense shot of pain. My vision was still half white. I could feel the pain with every pulse, in every part of my body. It was almost unbearable. And yet... She'd run out of the room in shock, and obviously had been gone for quite some time. As sick as she was of me, I couldn't imagine she'd leave me to suffer without doing anything. I opened my bedroom door and slowly crept downstairs. I could hear a sound coming from the kitchen. A very specific, very peculiar sound repeating at regular intervals. I did my best to sneak over to the doorway and keep in undetected. And what I saw was my mom sharpening a kitchen knife with intense force. Or focus, sorry. With intense focus. I had no idea what she planned to do with it, but an irrational fear washed over me. I slowly and silently sneaked my way over to the front entrance, and I made sure not a peep could be heard from me until I was inside and away from the house. Oh, sorry, outside and away from the house.
Kishinuma-kun!
It was a new morning, bright and early. Satoshi called out to me, like I was 12 or something. I'd been in the old, cheap, rundown, two-story apartment building for a long time now. It may not have been much to look at, but I felt it had a certain charm. Satoshi was crawling his school bag in his arms as he waited for me in front of my room on the ground floor. On mornings when he wasn't waylaid by Yuka, he would always drop by and invite me to walk to school with him. Originally, he was doing it for my own good, as I'd been known to ditch school a lot, and he figured a friendly offer like this might be my attendance up, get my attendance up a little bit. Admittedly, it worked.
Oh.
I finally made my entrance, or my exit, I suppose. And I'm pretty sure Satoshi must have been really confused, as I had on my shoulders one hell of a backpack, boasting a full-on survival kit, provisions, the works. Yep, Satoshi was confused, alright.
なんだその荷物。山登りでもするみたいな。
I slowly, carefully lowered the giant backpack to the ground.
いや、ちょっとな。つかお前、いい加減その小学生みたいな呼びかけやめろ。
え？
ま、いいけどよ。俺はちょっと今から出かけっから。そうそう、山登りだ。悪いけど今日は俺休みってことで頼むわ。くそ、まさか昨日あのまま気を失うとは不覚だった。後頭部打ったのは覚えてるが、目が覚めたら病院とか。何やってんだ俺は。待ってろ篠崎、必ず。
また何か隠して。
あ？
I guess I wasn't all that convincing, but even still, I didn't expect Satoshi to see through me so quickly and easily. I stumbled under his glare, and it was almost like I'd just been called out by a newborn baby or like a fawn. Dude was way too innocent for his own good.
こいつの勘の鋭さは半端ねえからな。ほとんどそれだけが取り柄みたいなもんだが、人の悩みとか喜ぶことをすぐに察知しやがる。
なんだよ言えよ、水臭いな。
ああ、そうだな。
Yumi's face appeared in the back of my mind.
篠崎はサトシたちをもう巻き込みたくないって言ってたしな。だったら言えねえよ。愛子って女とっ捕まえて天神賞にもう一度行く方法を探るなんてよ。
But Aiko's already there, but he doesn't know it yet.
天神賞と関係あるのか？
Oh, snap. He called it out, dude.
What?
Damn, he was on today.
その反応、やっぱりそうだな。
Ouch.
なんでわかった？あ、
God damn it. I'm terrible at this. I covered my mouth, but it was too late. I'd already confirmed it.
そりゃさ、リュックからお札とかいろいろ見えてるしさ。
I did have a lot of talismans with me. I bought them at the convenience store and didn't exactly pack smartly enough to hide them. I certainly wasn't going to win any awards for stealth.
だけど、あそこは崩壊したんじゃ。まさかまだあるのか？
いや、俺らが脱出するとき見た通りだ。あのまま潰れてるだろうよ。
Satoshi stared deeply into my eyes, as if evaluating my answer for any possible deception. This time, it seemed like I succeeded in fooling him.
ふーん。だよな。まあどのみち、もう幸子もいないあの空間にはおまじないも効かないし、行く方法もないけどな。
ああ、俺は今からちょっと天神賞のことで調べもんだ。別に危険なことはねえからよ。
Last famous words.
そうか。だったらいいんだけどさ。でも何か行動を起こすなら一人でするなよ。ナオミにも話す。こういうのは何も言われない方が辛いんだ。
I thought I was in the clear, but Satoshi suddenly got a puzzled look on his face. He reached out for my backpack and pulled out one of the talisman I'd lazily stuck in the front pouch.
こんなもん聞くのか？
He was looking it over like an appraiser or something. Why wouldn't he just leave me alone?
知らねえよ。イワシの頭よりはマシだろ。
I yanked the talisman back out of Satoshi's hand and crammed it into the front pocket of my school blazer.
よしき、たまに昔の人みたいなこと言うよな。
うっせえな。
でもな、今日はまず学校に連れてくぞ。
With this, Satoshi grabbed my sleeve.
あ？なんでだよ。
だってお前出席日数足りてないだろ。クオン先生が授業前に朝一で歩行って言ってたんだ。小テストで済むってさ。
知らねえよ。ダブローが何しようがそれどころじゃね
え。そんなにお前が優先するってことは篠崎も関係あるのか？
わ？
Was this guy a psychic? He hadn't even been wrong all morning.
まあいいや、学校行って聞いてやる。行くぞ。リュックはとりあえず家の中に入れてっと。
He seemed Satoshi wasn't going to take no for an answer.
おい、サトシ待てて。わかった。いや、いいんだろう、わけよってだから手離せって。はいはい。おい。
サトシくん、岸沼くん、おはよ
おはようございます。
ああ。
たった15分の小テストで単位をつけてあげるんだから頑張ってよね、岸沼くん。
ああ。
ヨシキには説明してあります。
大事な用あんのに来てやったんだ。終わったら速攻帰るからな。
偉いわ。じゃあ教室行きましょう。
ここでいい。テスト持ってきてくれ。
ヨシキ、無茶言うなよ。
マジでそれどころじゃねえんだよ。俺は行かなきゃならねえとこがあんだ。
I stuck my hand into my pocket and looked at the mechanical pencil. If they were going to force me to do this, I'd need to shove off every second I could. As I removed the pencil, the talisman I'd shoved in there earlier fell on the ground.
あら？
早くあのレーグマニアを探し出さねえと。篠崎が。
レーグマニアってもしかして丹羽愛子さんのことか？
ああ、そうだよ。
篠崎に何かあったのか？まさか本当に天神症？
ああ。
お前なんでもっと早く言わないんだよ。
お前が聞く耳持たなかったんだろうが。ずるずるずるずる引っ張りやがって。
愛ちゃんがどうしたの？天神？
いや、なんでも。ん？
愛ちゃん？
あれ、そういえば先生って丹羽？
うん。今名前の出た丹羽愛子は私の妹よ。愛ちゃん。
先生、その愛子に会いたいんだけどよ。どこに行けば会えるんだ？
この時間ならやっぱり学校かしらね。昨日の夜様子がおかしかったんだけど。
先生、一緒に住んでるの？
ええ。
俺と篠崎に会った後か。様子がおかしかったってどうおかしかったんだよ。
私あなたのこと喋ったかも。
は？
やだわ。
ああ、他にはねえの？
そうね、思い出してきたわ。何か小さな青い石を2個大事そうに持っていたわ。
それだ。あいつもう一組持ってやがったんだな。
Sonochita. That's bingo, dude. Something like that.
だがこれはチャンスだぜ。先生、愛子は今日も確かに学校に行ったのか？
愛ちゃんなら昨日の夜深刻な顔をしてお家を出て行って朝まで帰ってこなかったわ。朝ごはんを作って待っていたんだけれど全部私が食べちゃった。
よしき、先にあの石を一人で使われちまったら篠崎を追う手段がなくなっちまうじゃねえか。よしき、待てよ。
先生ありがとう。よしきは後でまた連れてくるからさ。
うん。
As Satoshi turned to leave, he caught a glimpse of Nakashima standing on the school roof, on the wrong side of the guardrail, looking tired and down. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Schools' roofs is normally locked. Most public houses' roofs is locked for reasons like this. There was no spark in her eyes, no awareness. It looked almost as she was sleepwalking.
ナオミ、
Oh my goodness. I tried picking myself up and look around. And I could only move my neck. Everything was dark. And the only sign of my surroundings was unpleasant, vaguely organic noise filling my ears. I felt in some way restrained. As my eyes adjusted to the dim light of the room, I could see that I was blanketed by red flesh. It was as if the floor had come to life and was absorbing me into its collective. I focused my strength and was finally able to break free from the bindings. Bits of red matter flying away from my body as I tore through to freedom. I was absolutely soaked, however, with a strange, vicious fluid, and chunks of meat were clinging fast to my skin and clothes. The blanket of flesh on the ground was now bubbling out of murky red liquid from all spots I'd torn into my escape, as violently as if a faucet had been turned to full. I was in tears, trying as hard as I could to wipe the viscera from my body. As I watched, however, a chunk I had been trying to shake free from the back of my hand just dissolved away. Aside from the murmurs of the flesh blanket, the room was deathly silent, and lit only by a faint blue glow, seeming it from the nearby window. An entity resembling Mayu was charging at me from the depths of the darkness. It was all in my head. A flashback. She wasn't after me now. But she definitely had been.
あれは確かに鈴本さんだった。
The tears were pouring out of my eyes by this point. I could do nothing to hold them back.
私本当にみんなを生き返らせることなんてできるのかしら。こんな真っ暗な廃墟でブックオブシャドウズなんて見つかるの？来るんじゃなかったのかな。
I crouched on the floor to gather my thoughts and noticed that my cell phone was laying on the ground beside me. And that wasn't all. A circular design was carved into the floor, perfectly round as traced from by compass. With the fleshy goo, I'd been trapped in more or less the sense centered inside.
何これ？
Actually, come to think of it,
さっき確か大きなお化けが斧みたいなものを振り回して。
I checked myself for injuries. There were none. Not at least none caused by an axe.
私どうして助かったのかしら。
Yeah. I guess I must have skinned my knee when I tripped. If my memory serves, and if the floor plan hasn't changed too much, the infirmary should be right here. Maybe I can catch my breath there for a minute. The hard wooden clops of my footsteps gave way to the softer, squishier series of blops. Taken aback by the sudden change, I looked down, terrified at what I might have been walking in. As I feared, whatever it was, looked awfully biological. Huge swaths of the floor were coated in what looked like an internal organ, moving and swaying and pulsing in a sick rhythm.
さっきから気持ち悪いな。これ何なの？
I raised my foot and found a seaweed-like substance that closely resembles a network of blood vessels stuck to the bottom of my
以
shoe.
前の天神症にはこんなのなかった。これって何か気持ち悪いものに侵食されているみたい。これなんだろう。篠崎義恵の家の地下室で見た呪術の道具と似ているけれど少し違う。あれよりも随分悪魔的だわ。なんだろう、見ているだけで恐ろしい。落ち着くのよ、あゆみ。私のなすべきこと考えるの。ブックオブシャドウズはこの女の子が持っている可能性が高い。そしてこの子は多分ユキちゃん。事情を話せばきっと本を渡してくれる。さっき気を失う前に一瞬あの子を見た気がしたけど、なんだか随分雰囲気が違ってたな。
I should leave a candle here. Maybe Misuto will see it. Hopefully Misuto will see it. I don't know why I would put a candle that deep into the thing. I'm out of matches. I wonder if there is any nearby. Oh, there you go. Grab a little Saverinsky. Grab the doll. This is blood, and it's fresh. There should be stairs leading to the 3rd floor over that way. And I'm thinking whether we should go down or up, but like... Let's go up, baby. The character was looking that way. Ah, the desk has been moved. And the more trail continues here. So the monster must have gone upstairs. The door is latched with human hairs holding it in place. There's no way through. The bloodstains lead here, which means Yuki is most likely inside, along with the axe-wielding giant.
知らない番号だ。もしもし。
もしもし。
もしもし。もしも。
What's so funny?
生きてたか、てめえ。
あなたは今どこですか？
なんだっててめえはそう弱えんだ。後悔ばっかりしやがったよ。
If there were a voltage meter attached to me, I would have spiked at the moment. Never before had one person been able to anger me so quickly and so effortlessly.
あなたこそ何よ。人のこと放っておいて今どこですかって聞いてるんですけど。
そうカリカリすんなよ。俺もお前を探してる。そのうち見つかんじゃね？
はあ？何そのいい加減な態度。ここは次元が複雑に絡み合った電人小学校なのよ。会おうと思っても会えないかもしれないのに。
ああ、そうだったな。しかも石は俺が持ってる。このままじゃお前だけ帰れねえってわけだ。んなことよりよ、この涅槃の至るところにある悪魔的な記号を見たか？
見た気がするけど。
あの文字はこの涅槃に潜む何かの力を増幅するものだ。
何かって何？文字に意味があるの？
細かいことはまだわからねえが、あれはマルトバの連中が使う黒魔術だ。この学校には何かがいる。気をつけろ。
は？
いいか、必ずまた合流できるはずだ。そうすりゃこの石でお前も現世に戻れ。
ちょっと。
That wasn't exactly an ideal spot to cut off in the conversation. I panicked and tried to call back.
気をつけろって何に気をつければいいのよ。
I redialed the number over and over again, more times than I could count. But Mitsuto never picked up.
一方的すぎるよ。
Girl, you've been here before. You know what to look out for.
元気？よくここでお弁当食べたね。
I held my hand out in front of me and looked down at my phone. All my attention was on the little glowing screen. My inbox was filled with old emails from Seiko.
私の時間は ずっと止まってるよ。あんたと一緒じゃないと怖くて一歩を踏み出せないよ。
Straight out beneath my feet, I could see the roof of the connecting corridor on the first floor. This was a 5-story school building. There'd be no surviving a fall from this height.
もう一度顔が見たい。一度でいいの。あんたのこと忘れるなんて。いや。
ナミ！
中島さん、ダメ！びっくりした。サトシ、先生。
ナミ！
Goodness, dude.
中島さん。危ない。私が飛び降りるかもって。ごめんね。しないよ、そんなこと。驚いたわ。
何をしてたんだ、あんなところで。
よく聖子とさ、この柵越えて、ほら、あの配電機の上に寝転がってたの。だからちょっとあの子のことを思い出してたんだ。
そうか。勘違いでよかったよ。
中島さん、その目どうしたの？これは昨日の夜。見せてみて。
My cornea was etched with indistinct white dots. To the untrained eye, they probably looked like a random blastering, but on closer inspection, one could easily make out the eye were actually letters.
これは呪詛の症状じゃない？
先生、霊とか詳しいの？
うちの会社がね、そういうものも扱っているの。昨日の夜どうしたの？携帯で画像を見てたら急に目に文字が貼り付いたみたいになって。例の写っている画像とかかな？今ある？
I wasn't sure I was ready to show this strange woman a photo of Seiko, who was, by all rights, non-existent in this world. I considered it for a moment, but ultimately decided the risk outweighed the rewards, any possible rewards.
いえ、もうありません。そう。この世のものじゃない存在が写っている画像は悪い影響を及ぼすから保存とかしちゃダメよ。
この世のものじゃない存在か。
Though it's obvious Miss Kuhn didn't intend that as an insult, those of us who'd survived the Heavenly Host ordeal couldn't help but have our hearts sink at the harshness of the phrase. Instantly, my depression intensified.
これ目薬よ。それと眼帯。不便でもしばらくつけておくといいね。ただの細菌感染だとすぐ治ってくれるはずだよ。
Satoshi's eyes widened as Miss Kuhn pulled all manner of shocking objects from her bag, searching for eye drops and eye patch she apparently just happened to have on her hand. He also seemed transfixed by the company logo emblazoned on the side of her bag, PL Promotions CO Inc.
ありがとう、先生。中島さん、今日はもう帰った方がいいわ。安静にしていないと余計なものを取り込んでしまうかもしれない。
Miss Kuon clearly knew more than she was letting on. I was a little taken aback by this whole encounter. The expression on her face was not that someone's playing around, nor that of a teacher, but that of a professional giving a deathly serious prognosis. It reminded me of the look of Sonozaki would give whenever she sensed danger. Reading between the lines, it was evident that Miss Kuon's sensitivity to the supernatural was well honed. Satoshi and I were both looking at her somewhat agape. There we go. And I think we realized in that moment that she was someone we could trust.
それじゃあ俺送っていきます。
サトシ君は授業があるでしょ。私が送ってくわ。いい？中島さん。一緒にお家に戻ろう。いや。え？いや、うちは
嫌！どうしたんだ、ナオミ。
嫌なの。うちに帰るのだけは
嫌。ナオミ。
Miss Kuon's eye moved downwards a bit, surveying my body. I wasn't sure what she was doing at first, but then I realized she was observing the state of my uniform. Namely, that it was a mess of wrinkles, as if I hadn't changed out for longer than one would expect.
中島さん、あなた家出してきたの？もしかして昨日から？帰ったら怖いなもの。薬打たれる。
I probably sounded like a little girl at the doctor's office, frightened of the needle. This may have been the first time Satoshi realized how much Psycho's loss still bothered me. I was in shock and denial, and I'd been trying so hard to play it off.
ナオミ。
わかったわ。じゃあ、うちに行きなさい。お家に連絡だけ入れておくわね。カバン取りに一度教室に寄りましょう。じゃあサトシ君、今日も授業頑張るのよ。
ナミ、よく休むんだぞ。
うん。
ヨシキは一人で動こうとするし、篠崎も心を痛めていた。ナオミもやはり苦しんでる。このままじゃみんな心が潰れてしまう。なんとかしなくては。ごめん先生。ヨシキ、待ってろ。
Was this no time for schoolwork?
きっと丹羽愛子さんに話を聞くために東照学園に行ったに違いない。
いいか水木、お前は特に二人の親友だったから気持ちはわかるが、くれぐれも気を落とすんじゃないぞ。お家の方も捜索願いを出されているし、きっと佐江の木も大上もひょっこり帰ってくる。心配はいらないよ。
はい、清水先生。
As soon as the teacher was out of sight, the girl's eyes narrowed. She stared after him with a look of utter contempt. This had to be Magari Mizuki.
お 大人ってなんでこうバカなのかしら。
She followed this statement with a sigh that seemed to say, I'm so much better than that person. And then bingo. From her skirt pocket, she withdrew the ever after stones.
気休めで世の中が回るなら、誰も努力なんてしないだろう。
She was coolly playing with the stones, and as she said this, fitting them together at the different angles in her hands.
で、お前誰？
She hadn't turned around, as she just somehow seemed to sense my presence. I stepped out from behind the bench into the line of sight. How did he find her? Magari then flashed me the iciest stare I'd ever seen. I'm not usually intimidated by this sort of thing, but even I had to really make a concerted effort not to look away.
なんだこいつ。ああ、お前マガリってやつだよな。他のやつに聞いたんだけどよ。丹羽愛子やあのナホってのとも仲が良かったって。その石なんで持ってるんだ。それは今丹羽愛子が持っているはずなんだが。
I figured I might as well just jump in wild hog, though not without bracing myself first. I knew that question couldn't exactly lead me anywhere good. And sure enough, her response was almost immediate.
殺すぞ。
Whoa.
ああ、
詮索したら殺す。これはお前の知ることではない。だから出て行ってくれる？部外者。先生呼ぶわよ。
She certainly wasn't messing around. Nonetheless, I'd come too far to back down now. Despite her threats, I knew I had to keep pushing.
ねえはん、天神所へ行くのか。俺も連れて行ってくれねえか。
は？
今あそこには俺の仲間が。
Before I could get in another word, a giant's scythe literally appeared in her hand out of nowhere. And just like that, I couldn't move a muscle. She had me completely restrained.
ほんと殺すから。忘れろ。失せろ。いいな。
The blade glinted majestically in the light of the sun. But I looked up at it. It was her hand that really did me in. Usually the heel of her palm. She flung me backward with an incredible force. There was a loud sudden metallic sound as my back struck the bench behind me. The form was unbelievably precise. My momentum caused me to pivot over the back rest and flop down onto the ground below. I became actually aware of every muscle and every bone in my body as a jolt of intense pain fired through all of them. The wind wasn't just knocked out of me, it was obliterated. I gagged and choked for a while longer, but eventually regained the ability to breathe normally. And with that, or with and with it my composure. I forced myself up with the effort that Marguerite was nowhere to be seen.
くそ、一体何者なんだ。あいつもあのミストってやつも。
I was in complete daze. I'd always thought of myself of being able to hold my own in a fight, but this was twice now that I'd been laid out with almost no effort.
なんで俺はこうも弱えんだ。
I have to find a way to open this door.
なんだろうあのオブジェ。やっぱりこの天神書は以前とは全然違うんだわ。
Outside the window, there was some sort of bizarre statue, clearly visible in the pale blue light.
先生、鈴本さん、篠原さん、森重くん、いたら私に力を貸して。きっと生き返らせてあげるからね。おなじみでしょ、私のろうそく。私来たよ。
Well, they're my saving time candles. Okay, let's go back. Oh, there's a wire here. Nice. Oh my goodness, what the fuck was that? Dude, I'm so focused, man. We lost quite a bit of HP. Was that a wire I didn't see? Who's there? As I walked down the hallway, I could hear a familiar voice echoing from around the corner. Turning in the direction of the voice, I confirmed that my ears were telling me it was Morishig. Morishiga. I don't know how to pronounce him. His eyes were hollow and his face was frozen in a soul-crushing frown. As he walked, he was holding his cell phone lazily in one hand. His tone of voice was decidedly abnormal. He clearly wasn't in the right mind. Morishig. He paused mid-Mayu and remained dead silent for a moment. His facial expression changed only slightly, adding the tiniest a bit of confusion to his all-consuming sadness. He genuinely seemed stunned to see me. His mouth was agape. Do you know where Mayu is, Mayu? I looked deeply into his eyes, trying to find some trace of his former intensity. But the flame had gone out. My vision rapidly began to glaze over. The tears swelled in my own eyes.
Mayu は責任を持って俺がMayu.
The phone he held in his hand had a cracked screen upon which nothing at all was displayed. Just white. I couldn't stop crying.
森重君やっぱり死んでる
He continued to walk onward on the never-ending mission to find Mayu, swaying around in his unsettled fashion as he sauntered down the corridor.
絶対助けるからあなたも鈴本さんも
ま
ブックオブシャドウズを見つけなきゃ
Oh my goodness, what the fuck is damaging me, dude? Tell me before I poop my panty. Guys, we're gonna actually end the episode here. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.